So this next strategy that we're going to look at is called give and take. Now, give and take is going to help you and help your child when we are looking at addition problems, really of anything. We're going to be looking at decimals to the hundredths, but anytime you have an addition problem, you can use the strategy of give and take. So basically all it's talking about, and the thing you have to remember, is that if you take from one, you give it to the other. So we keep things equal. So in addition, if I take from one and just throw it out of the problem, my answer is way off. So this is why you have to remember this whole thing right here, this give and take. Okay, so we're going to look at an example. Our example would be, yeah, let's do it this way. So let's look at an example. We have 15 and 87 hundredths plus 3 and 65 hundredths. And what is that going to equal? Again, we don't want kids to just mindlessly do the algorithm. If you can do the algorithm, great. But one of the things I love and that I've learned from Bridges is the idea to think flexibly about the problem and to set it up. Is to use the math to make my life easier so that my risk of making mistakes is lessened. And I think that that is a kind of a smart way to look about life too, is like, how can I manage risk? And just because life presents me with this doesn't mean I don't have any control over it. So let's take a look at what this happens. So we're going to, again, one of the big, and I should have mentioned this last video, one of the big ideas that your child needs to have in order to be successful with this is, what are my combinations that get me to 100 or get me to 0, 0? Give me to 100. So if you give me, you know, if I'm looking at the number 16, I know that it's 84 away from 100. If I'm looking at the number 1.6, I know it's, what, 8.4 away from 10. If I'm looking at the number 16 hundredths, I know that's 84 hundredths away from 1. So understanding those combinations that get us to the next place value. Okay, a lot of those will have to do with that 100. So if you have 49, I know 51 is 100. If I see 67, I know 33 is 100. Okay, so those combinations. So if you see your child struggling with that, and this is something we'll talk about too as a class, is this idea of combinations of 100. So because I know my combinations of 100, I see 15 and 87 hundredths. I know I can get to 16 pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is I first am going to give this number 0 and 13 hundredths. And so what that does is this changes 15 to 16. Well, I gave it, I do have to take it away. It is addition. So I'm going to take away 0.13 from this number, and that's going to give me 3 and 52 hundredths. And now I'm going to add everything together to get me 19 and 52 hundredths. Okay, so this strategy is all about before. It's setting up the problem to make it friendlier, and when we're adding with zeros, nothing is friendlier than that. Okay, except maybe multiplying by 0, right? But that's neither here nor there. All right, so that's give and take with addition.